Right here. Yeah.
Look, like 2 minutes. Half minute.
Yeah.
Same. Call to order. July 10th, Sylva Board of Commissioners meeting. I'd like to welcome everyone. First thing on our agenda is to approve the agenda. I didn't have a motion. Do we do that? Have a motion. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by like sign, the motion carries. Also entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Make that motion.
Have a motion. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by like sign, the motion carries. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
You do. You do, I'm signed up. Nobody else did, I believe.
Hey, somebody hand that thing. Thank you, Jack. Good. Mr. Luther Jones.
First of all, I'd like to thank the town of Sylva for putting item 11 on the agenda of the last meeting. Even though it's taken off. All right, here's my comments on that. On June the 12th, the town board of Sylva met in regular session. Item 11 on the agenda was to be the consideration of a resolution asking county commissioners not to remove the Jackson County Library from the Fontana Regional Library System. At the beginning of the meeting, one board member objected to item 11 and forced a vote as to its removal. Two other board members immediately jumped on the bandwagon, and with their help, item 11 was removed from the agenda. This allowed no debate of any kind. The board members' arguments to remove the item from the agenda could just as easily have been presented from debate and discussion on whether to pass a resolution or not was to take place. The board members' argument stated, quote, "We have not vetted this statement as a committee, as a board. We have not discussed it. I didn't have a hand in crafting it." That is why it was on the agenda to be vetted and discussed prior to taking the vote. You could have vetted the statement as a committee, as a board. You didn't have to like the resolution as it was written. You could have had your hand in crafting it to your liking. You could have voted for it or not as per your personal conscience. The issue is not whether you or other members of the board would have passed the resolution. The issue is that no hearing or debate was allowed by these three members of the board, thereby stifling the opinions and possible concerns of the other two members. It was a shameful act by these three council members. It was an act of censorship. It is not conducive to open good government. The public, the residents of Sylva, the citizens they were supposed to support, to represent, have not been able to ascertain the positions of the council members because of this silence. If these three members of the town council cannot or will not be willing to address and at least discuss the issues that affect the town of Sylva, as the fate of the library certainly did, then perhaps they should step down or be replaced by the voters the next time they are up for re-election. They failed in their civic duty to the public whom they represent. Let me say one more thing. There are times when I have not agreed with the actions of the town board. But I can tell you now, in all these years, this is the first time that I have been ashamed of it.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think anyone else has signed up to speak. So that would move us on to reports. And for the mayor's report, I have one thing to report that I got word on today. Something we've been working on for quite some time and got delayed because of the hurricane. But there had been a request come to me probably 8-9 months ago from the fire department to try to get approved and get built a crossover on the bypass between the Sylva exit and the hospital exit, so that they'd have a faster way to get to some of the wrecks without having to go all the way to the other end, turn and come back. So I got word today, DOT has approved that, traffic engineers approved it, it's funded, and they're working it into their schedule. So I thought y'all be glad to hear that. appropriate thing to mention on the day we're awarding the Fireman of the Year. So that's all I have. Moving on to commissioners, Ms. Fair.
No report tonight, thank
No
you.
report. Brad?
Not as well, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just say, I went to the Fourth of July celebration. So really shine, and there was a lot of people that, came together to make that happen. Just thank you for the, town staff, law enforcement, county commissioners, and Parks and Rec, and so permanent laws, just make it all happen. It was a well-attended event. Bitch.
I agree, town was full.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that. Thank you to the Public Works. A lot of good work went in to make the fourth happen. A lot of things behind the scene that we don't see. No big issues, no big events that night. So thank you, Jake, and all you guys. A lot of good work there. Great turnout. I had planned on saying a few words about what happened last meeting, and I appreciate Mr. Jones' comments. What we do here as a board should be transparent, it should be discussed. And what we did last meeting and removing that from the agenda was probably not the best way to handle that. I'll admit that. And I think that was a learning experience for me. Called a rookie mistake. I'm still learning what I'm doing here. But I do not feel, I maintain the fact that we as a board are not to be making resolutions on taking a side on a divisive issue that's been very divisive in our community. And I'll maintain that. Having said that, I do feel that we can make a resolution in favor, in support of our library. And we're working on that, and we will put that forth that will speak to more of where most of our constituents are. And so there are legitimate concerns on both sides, and I, for one, would love to see the library stay part of the FRL. I would also like to see concerns that people have be acknowledged and about materials in the library, and let them know their voice is heard. And so a resolution that acknowledges that and makes plain the fact that there are avenues to dispute materials is available. I think that's appropriate. And I think the board will agree to a resolution that's more encompassing of where many of our constituents stand on this issue. I'll be the first to admit when I've done something wrong or stepped out of line. And so I'll acknowledge that was probably not the best thing to do. Best way to handle it. Moving from the agenda. When an agenda is put forth, the public should have confidence that the agenda will be discussed. And so I will acknowledge that. And so going forward, I think that having that transparent, that's what we want to be about. I think there's other commissioner boards that do things behind the scenes and they make decisions that are not well vetted and discussed in public, and I don't agree with that. I think this board needs to be very transparent and discuss hard issues, no matter how controversial they are. And so I can see how that what we did could be construed as pushing something aside or not wanting to discuss it. So I regret that, but I also feel strongly in what type of resolution we should be putting forth, and that we will come up with one that is better for our town after our vote. So thank you again, Mr. Judge, for your thoughts. Totally different note. I was able to attend the Pinnacle Park board the other night, and I don't want to steal the thunder. We're going to talk about that tonight with funding, but a lot of good things happening there with Pinnacle Park. We are going to see some great changes there. Some new trails being designed, and we have an intern. Jay, correct me if I'm wrong, Emma Jute is our intern, and she's working with the board and the foundation to really do some good things there, and getting the word out about what else happening. One thing I know you asked me to look into, Johnny, was about having a sign there at the entrance, and that is in the works. And I believe we do have an easement an easement. I don't know about the design,
Yeah, we need to design.
but we're working on kind of that and also the sign that's gonna be at Skyline Drive. So, yeah, so.
Thank you, sir. And speaking to a little bit of what John was talking about, there's always been pushback a little bit for the town to not get involved in things that are not our full decision. But we still must remember, we represent people, town of Sylva, and when you say the town of Sylva, we represent our county seat. And there's a lot of people who expect us to stand for what's right. Whether it's controversial or not. So, moving on to our mayor's report. Manager's report, I'm sorry.
Good evening. The Southwestern Commission annual meeting, I think most of your invitations must have been mailed to your house. If you didn't receive it, please let me know and I'll scan it to you, but it's July the 28th at 5. So let me know if you would like me to RSVP on your behalf. As far as employment updates, Tyron Brown started as a patrol officer July the 1st. He was formerly with the Sheriff's Department. Tim Ogle started Monday in the vacant maintenance technician position in Public Works. The new positions in the fire department are Logan Green and David Broom, who have one is started and the other is starting in the next few days. So we want to extend a warm welcome to everyone joining the town of Sylva. The mast arms on the streetlights on Main Street are being painted this month. They actually started last week. Bryson Park is getting very close to being completed. Over the last few weeks, rails have been installed. The wall at the basketball court was completed. The basketball court was paved. The fence was finished. Remaining work includes painting the basketball court, tying in the rubber playground matting to the sidewalk, installing the water fountain, and tidying up the grounds. So we did not receive any proposals for engineering on the Scotts Creek wall behind Town Hall the first time it was published. So we've sent it out again, and new proposals are now due August the 15th. The mudslide on Allen Street, you may have contractors up there working today. Fortunately, it was caused by surface runoff, missing the drain and jumping the curb rather than of an actual failure. So that's very good news, and it's being repaired right now. Administrative staff had our preliminary site visit with our auditor June the 26th, and they'll return in September for their field work. I want to thank you all. I attended the North Carolina City and County Management Conference 2 weeks ago and attended excellent sessions on HR practices, grant funding, organizational culture, and leadership. And I was sworn into a 2-year term on the board of directors for the North Carolina City County Managers Association. Do you all have any questions?
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Thank you for your service and serving on statewide board as well.
Looking forward to it.
All right, I think that moves us on to new business. First thing is a joyous occasion, to present the Fireman of the Year to Mr. Brian Well. Come forward, please. I'm just gonna take a picture. Yeah. So. Congratulations. Thanks, sir.
Pictures. Let's see.
Do that, make her.
Do it now. In case y'all get a call or something. Are you all right if we do a picture of the department
Sure,
now?
absolutely.
If y'all don't mind coming up here, we'll line up. Thank you for having me. Right in the middle.
I don't want nothing to get out of it.
You gotta be in it, God.
Where do you want?
The red.
There you go.
That good? Need to go get the mineral. I don't,
I think we need to scooch.
I do too.
I'm missing the two on
Don't
the
get there in
ends.
the middle.
Well.
Okay.
Back
I'll
there.
get that here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scooch over. But slide by Eric.
Yes.
Now. Good. Thank you all.
Everybody underhand. I know that. Congratulations. Yeah.
Bye, guys. Take care.
That way.
Congratulations. Bye.
Yeah. Good. The last things on our agenda are all three resolutions to do with Pinnacle Park, and this time I'd like to recognize Jake Al. Both got some props. There you go. I've been at this podium so many times since the early nineties, promoting Pinnacle Park. It is my honor to do so, and I just want to express my appreciation to this board for its support of an extraordinary place. Very few towns have anything like it, and we have done a marvelous job of protecting it, and I think that's good. All but one board that seriously considered timbering the whole place has supported the efforts at Pinnacle Park. And I want to show my expression of appreciation and give out to you a hat.
Thank you.
That was commissioned on behalf of the Pinnacle Park Foundation, called Friends of Pinnacle Park, as a way of raising money. All right. And this is the one. Berta Butner was the one who asked Andrea Nyberg to prepare this logo. And it's the logo of Pinnacle Park, Friends of Pinnacle Park. And the reason I'm bringing this to you is because I want you to consider adopting it as the official logo for the Pinnacle Park. And I'm going to hand this out. This is the QR code that you can take a picture of and get the master plan that we finished last year, a 10-year master plan for how it's developed. And this is the logo here blown up. What we propose to do is take Friends All out and just be Pinnacle Park, Sylva, North Carolina. And on the signage that we're working on at the mouth of Fisher Creek and up at the top, on Skyland Drive, wherever we have a sign or wherever we have literature or something that we need to promote it, we'll have a logo. And I've talked with Ms. Nyberg about this, and she's has agreed to let us have this, a small thing. And I think it would be a good thing to adopt. She also has said that there's many different ways that she could, if she needed to change colors, to, line draw it. Um, um, and the logo would be on the sign as you went into the park. And you'd see that, and what we've talked about, Paige and I are using the same kind of signs we've got downtown, those light blue signs, same kind of lettering. But up there would have the logo on it, in addition to an arrow in Pinnacle Park. So the logo would be there. The sign would look like the wayfinding signs you've got downtown, and it would all look like Sylva. Jay, if I may, just for the benefit of some folks that weren't on the board when we originally did this, for your knowledge, the Haskett family, particularly Tim Haskett, very graciously gave for free a 99-year lease for a small piece of property on the other side of the creek, to put a sign on pointing people to Pinnacle Park. And, of course, the town will build the flower bed around it and get it fixed nice, get high enough so people can see it and still not obstruct traffic. But the family's been very gracious to the town in doing that. And this is what we've been waiting on, is a design for that sign put up, and quite sure that it'll come as a recommendation from the Pinnacle Park Board.
Yes, it is, yeah.
To do the sign and spend the money to do it out of that Pinnacle Park Board money.
We, if we cut any left.
And the other thing is, that ought to be recognized is the man that brought this as an idea to us was Luther John.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
I love the logo.
Yeah, I think it's a
Include
great
the color.
logo. That's why we had an artist do it, because I would have done something totally different, wouldn't have been half as good. The colors, when I first saw the colors, I thought, well, these colors, actually, I love these colors. The only disagreement that we had was whether to put a person on top of the pinnacle or put a bear. And the argument was, well, if we put a man on there, then the women will be mad. If we put a woman, the men will be mad. It's not big enough for two, so we put a bear there. And we've seen bears there, so it's authentic. So we're moving in great strides. We have, you have some issues to take up here to vote on tonight, and I can speak to them or let Paige, it doesn't matter to me. But we still have one big grant that we're pursuing that would be through the Parks and Recreation Trust Fund. We pursued it last year. We came very close to getting that one. It's a lot bigger than the one that you'll be voting on tonight. But we need to have that as well. And we're sure that we have a better chance this time because we've already tried once and got real close. I think that in that funding year, they were trying to, they had some favors. They wanted to make sure they got the funds. But they love Pinnacle Park too. So we've been told, apply again, and we are applying. Equinox is handling the application for us. They're the ones that did the master plan and the botanical survey. So with what you vote on tonight, we can actually get started on doing some of the stuff that's in the master plan and in the grant applications.
Okay, so I thought the way we go about this is just call them off by line item, let Paige explain exactly what we're voting on. And then if anybody has any questions in detail about that, they can just address the issue. You'll just state, okay, we get these addressed. So line item number 6, Paige, you want to go ahead and explain?
Yes, so this is a resolution accepting the recreational trails program grant from the Department of Cultural Resources. This grant is $92,000 from the state, and the town's match is $23,000. That's already been included in the budget. But this is so we can execute the grant contract to build an additional just shy of 2 miles at Fisher Creek. So it would be a loop that would connect it would be a connection that from the West Fork to the East Fork, building a footbridge, and it would provide access to a waterfall that's not been visible from a trail in the past. So this would allow us to work with the trail builder and construct this trail section. And the loop would catch people that didn't want to go all the way to the top of Pinnacle or Black Rock.
That's great.
What did I miss there,
If
Jay?
I may, Paige, let me point that out on this map. The West Fork is, oops, help I guess. Right side up. The West Fork is the blue fork that goes to the top. The ridge line is right here. This is the property that was purchased in 2017 over on the Cherokee side. And the East Fork is this one right here. They both end up in this one spot right here. Excuse me, this spot right here. This is the trail that goes out to the Pinnacle. So what we want to do is build several new trails. One of them is going to be this trail down here. We're probably hoping to use that through park funds, but this trail right here, using funds from this $92,000 grant, would connect on an old road across on a new trail, the face of this middle ridge, which is the middle ridge that you see in the park. And it would connect with these trails. So this will be a brand spanking new trail. This will be an improvement to a road that's already in there. It's an ancient logging road. So that's how that's going to connect this trail to that trail. And so you could hike up this far and around and back down instead of going all the way up.
With an old logging road like that, you're disturbing much less ground by creating.
Right.
So the red, the kind of classic red there would be new, all that red would be.
All this would be new.
Yeah, gotcha.
What's the distance?
We're estimating 1.9, but it could vary depending on terrain.
Anyone have any other questions about that particular resolution?
One other thing, there's going to be the forest therapy trail area down here is also have our attention. That's where the short 0.5 mile trail is. It's real easy. It doesn't gain more than 100 feet, I guess, in elevation, if that. But that's another I think that's in the
Yes.
third, yeah.
Jay, that waterfall that it's gonna be incorporated, that Fisher Creek,
Yeah, all of this whole thing is Fisher Creek.
no, I mean Fisher Creek Fall.
Well, there are two sets of falls, and what we're trying to do is to, on one trail, connect the fall that's over here. Fall that's right here. And the fall that's over here. So we'll probably call that the waterfall trail or something like that. And they're both about the same elevation, so there's not gonna be a great deal of exertion once you get to this point right here to get from one to the other. Everywhere else, you've got to exert yourself.
Are you finding somebody to take your place with all this? You know me? No.
You know, I don't know. We have a fabulous board right now. We have people on that board who are dedicated, who come to the meetings, who make contributions. One of them, Kathy Matthews, did the application like in the last 2 or 3 days. We realized that the application that we were putting in on behalf of the foundation, which is a 501c3, was not permissible to do that. So we had to change the way it was presented and get towns presented as opposed to the foundation. But we were told at the outset, the foundation needed to do it. And then the person who was going to award the grant decided, whoops, we can't do it that way. So she just spent a day working on that on her own. She's a professor of botany at Western. We have three professors at Western on on the board and one retired professor on the board, all who are interested in natural resources, and they've been excellent. So, yeah, somebody's gonna have to step in for me one day, but for the time being, what you see is what you get.
All right. So for line item number 6, I entertain a motion that we approve that resolution. Have a motion. Do we have any more discussion? And just for general purposes, the $23,000 matching grant money is already in the budget and we've already passed and approved the budget. So money's good to go, right, Paige? Okay, so we have a motion. Do we have any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. Opposed by like sign, the motion carries. Moves us on to line item number 7, which is next resolution for Jennifer Park.
So this resolution exempts the town, if the board passes it, from qualification-based selection to select a firm to administer the grant contract and handle the bidding process.
Any questions about that? Questions for Jay?
Yeah, what's the reason for that though? We've already got somebody lined up and it's already been,
Yeah, we pretty much have decided that Equinox is gonna be the one that
okay,
sort of designs how we do this and contracts out for professional trail builders and some of our board members will be helping to direct that trail builder through sensitive areas that have been mapped out in that botanical survey that we did last year, so that they don't wallop stuff that we want to preserve. And it's not only plants, there are some old ancient sites that where people actually live that are archaeological sites that we want to protect as well. And it's just going to make it a whole lot better, streamlined process to do this way than it is to go through.
Yes.
Rigmarole.
Equinox submitted, well, they did the master plan. They also submitted the recreational trails program grant on our behalf. So they're very familiar with the project. It really wouldn't be fair to rank the proposals if we went through the actual process because they've got a leg up on it.
it sounds like they're pre-planning it in
Yeah,
quite a few ways that you wouldn't want to cut them out of that because you
Yeah,
miss out on all the planning they've already done, yeah.
there's 3 or 4 of them who put a lot of work into it, know a lot about the ground, and we've helped them, and so they know a lot.
Yeah, I would say I'll add that Equinox has done an outstanding job. Master plan. No reservations about.
Okay, so I entertain a motion to approve line item number 7.
I'll make.
Have a motion. Do we have any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye. All opposed by like sign, the motion carries. Line item number 8 is the last resolution. Paige?
This grant is from Duke Energy Foundation. It's their local environmental impact grant. It's $25,000 and it doesn't require a match. This would hire a trail builder to improve the lower 300 feet of the forest therapy trail that Jay pointed out, making it more accessible and including signage along the trail. So this resolution authorizes the town to accept the grant if it's awarded.
And it does not require a match.
Correct.
Anybody have any questions about that?
Let me just mention one thing about that. We're hoping that we can have at least a start up on the forest therapy trail. And we had to peel out some of the stuff that we had in the part of grant to put into this grant application. So we've just basically taken that from one grant application and put it in another one. But we will be, if we get the part of grant, we will finish it up with the start that we've got with this grant. And the idea is to make it truly accessible. Now, when we put that trail in, at that time, the rules were you could have accessibility in streets and sidewalks and things like that, buildings. But there was a qualification for a wilderness accessible trail as well. Those rules have changed a little bit, they're a bit more stringent, but at one time we advertised this as the accessible trail. but it has, because so many people use it. Because it's just a half a mile loop that it, has suffered from the wear and tear. So we'd like to at least get over to where the creek is and maybe build a platform out there for people who can just make it 300 feet, come back to their car. And there are lots of people that, that's about all they can do. We want it, but if they get to that spot and they're right in the middle of Fisher Creek, so be a good start with that.
So I did kind of motion that we approve that resolution. Motion, do we have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign, motion carries. Congratulations, Scott.
Thank you. Again, y'all are the ones that are taking action and I appreciate it.
And unless there's something I don't know or have been told about, we're ready for Brad Baldridge to give us an adjournment.
I'll have motion that we adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. We have any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by like sign. Stand adjourned.